14-0 in his pro career, 7-0 in the octagon. He continues to climb the ranks, climb that ladder. He beats Geoff Neal. I thought it was a relatively easy fight to score. Not sure about that one judge and some of the people online. Nevertheless, big dub over a tough opponent. Ian Machado Garry, kind enough to join us. There he is. Ian, my man, how are you?
Hey, how are you? I'm good. Appreciate you. Thank you for having me back on.
Oh, a pleasure as always, my friend. Congratulations on the win. You've had now a little less than 2 days to digest the performance, digest the win, digest what you did out there. How do you feel about Saturday?
You said it in the intro there. A relatively easy decision. I feel like the split decision was a bit nuts. I feel like I dominated every round. I beat him everywhere, really. Even in the clinch, I know Bisping alluded to in the commentary, he wanted to clinch and mix it up a little bit more. Couldn't take me down, didn't outstrike me in the clinch. I dirty boxed better than he did. And I just maintained distance and composure the entire fight. And it was clinical in my mind against someone who's very, very dangerous and deserves a lot of respect. Geoff hits like a truck. So you got to respect him.
Who was tougher for you, Geoff or Neal? Neal Magny, that is.
So, for me, Geoff Neal, purely based on the power he possesses. With Neal Magny, I knew he was going to be like quicksand. He's going to want to grab a hold of you and just pull you in. With Geoff Neal, it's like, I got to keep moving and keep on my toes because the minute he gets planted, he has so much power. So that movement had to be constant the entire fight, shifting from left to right. And I added in, what I've been doing is I was studying a lot of NFL wide receivers. People like Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, and the way they get off the line and they throw off the corners, purely based on the ability of trying to trick the movement and trick the eyes into which direction you're going to move and you're going to go. And I used that a lot in this fight of just switching really quickly to make them think I'm going to go right, then go left. And next time I'll change it up a little bit differently, maybe still go left, but throw him a lot of feints. And that was really important for me to just keep that consistent, constant movement to unsettle Geoff and make it hard for him to have success.
By the way, who told you to do that? Or was that something you thought of yourself to study these guys?
Me.
Wow.
Me, I wanted to study them. Firstly, I respect any elite level athlete. And you watch these guys, and they're so fast off the line. And they have the amazing ability to just cut on a dime and just turn it a different direction. And you see people just break ankles and they get lost. And I feel like we see it with sports a lot. And I was watching them. I don't know if you know Pep Guardiola.
Of course, Man City. It's my guy.
Yes. So I was watching his documentary recently on BBC, and he was talking about how handball influenced his way of playing football, and the fact that it's harder to get the ball than it is to maintain possession. So if we can maintain the possession, we can score easier. It's the same with fighting. If you're harder to hit, then it's harder for your opponent to have success. So if you're constantly moving and being fast and fidgety and just lightning quick, Geoff Neal can't have success.
What happened inside when you heard that one judge scored for Geoff? Like that moment there, what are you thinking?
I was a bit like, don't. Like, I even went over to the judges, over to the commentators, like, I hate even shit to the judges because it's exactly like that one judge. So, two could have had that view. I don't see how. Statistically, I dominated in the significant strikes. Geoff had more clinch time and control against the cage, but did absolutely nothing with it. Tried to take me down, couldn't. I was dominant in the head fight, in the hand battle. I was just sat there going, how on earth do you score that 30-27 Geoff Neal? Like, if you want to give him a round, I could understand that. If you wanted to say 29-28 unanimous decision, it wasn't. They weren't the easiest rounds to score from a clear point of view of Ian definitely dominated that round. But when it comes to leading the dance, when it comes to output, when it comes to control of the positions we were in, I feel like I dominated him in every facet of the game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I thought it was 29-28 or 30-27 for you. I had no idea what that one judge was seeing.
And if you told me it was 29-28 unanimous decision, I wouldn't be annoyed.
Yeah.
I would think in my heart of hearts, when I know being the fight. Look, when two fighters fight, both fighters know who won. And Geoff can, put his hands up in that octagon or not and then try and, show the world that he thinks he won. But in his heart, he knows. In his heart, I know he knows because I outworked him. I outpaced him. And when he wanted to have success, he didn't. So I know he knew he lost that fight. So if you wanted to give him the 1 round, fine. I have no issue. But don't tell me that wasn't a unanimous decision. So this is why we don't leave it in the hands of the judges.
How did you feel going in there, just considering first fight since August, everything that happened over the last few months? Did you feel more pressure, more nerves because you had to prove the doubt? None of that?
No, Ariel, it's what I love to do. It's what I want to do. It's what I thrive on. It's that energy. It's like, it's going in there and proving that I'm one of the best fighters on the planet and doing it against the most dangerous competition I can. And that excites me. Geoff was super dangerous and has arguably the biggest one-punch power in the division. And I have to respect that. And it's like, that is a challenge in and of itself. And I'm excited for that. And going in there and being the 26-year-old prospect that I am, I went out and I showed that I'm just levels above everyone else.
So I have a theory, and I want to ask you your thoughts on this theory. I think Ian Machado Garry is a very good person with a very good heart. The first time I ever came across you, you're singing Imagine to your grandfather, and it's beautiful, and it's still pinned, I believe, at the top of your Twitter page, your X page. I think you're a very good person who has done nothing wrong. You're not a criminal. You have not done anything to offend anyone, to upset anyone.
Nope.
But I think you have made a conscious decision to say, hey, people want to boo me. I'm going to lean in now. I'll flip you off. I'll say this and that. But deep down inside, you're not that guy. Now, I appreciate you doing this. I think this is a good move. That what you're doing on Saturday was smart. You have to do that. Don't resist it. Lean in. But there's a part of me that wonders if deep down, like, you're having this internal conflict, because I know you're not that guy. You're not a villain. You're not a heel, as they say in the wrestling business. Is this a struggle for you at all?
No, I mean, the truth is, Ariel, I'm not trying to be anything. I'm being myself. I'm not trying to be the good guy. I'm not trying to be the villain. I'm not trying to be the hero. I'm not trying to be anything on this planet. But if I'm showing up and people want to boo or people want to cheer, at the end of the day, I'm showing up and doing what I want. So when I'm sat in an octagon, when I'm stood in an octagon with Joe Rogan trying to do my post-fight interview and the whole crowd's booing, it's like, at the end of the day, you're all here watching me. Keep booing. That's the type of person I am. If someone says something to me in the street, I'm going to be like, hey, hold up, come back here, don't chat shit, get back here and tell me what you mean. That's the person I am. Obviously, like, having everyone behind you, the crowd behind you, the support, the love is amazing. But at the end of the day, whether they love me or they hate me, I'm showing up to do what I want to do. And that's become one of the greatest of all time.
And ultimately, the worst thing that a fighter can experience is just people being apathetic, right? People not caring, it being quiet. So many people have made a ton of money being the quote-unquote bad guy that people want to boo. Just look at Floyd Mayweather, et cetera. So you're in a very good spot. I did want to ask you about the reaction in Anaheim. Like, I saw that one video, you outside the car talking to the fans. Like, overall, how were the people towards you on the street, at the arena, the press conference stuff, all that?
This is where MMA confuses me, like, to a ridiculous degree, right? So inside the octagon, I get booed. Inside the venue of press conference and weigh-ins, I get booed. Outside, people are screaming at me, coming for hugs, wanting photos, wanting autographs. They're talking about me. They're talking about my wife. They're saying, you guys are awesome. We love you. We support you. Of course, you have one or two fans that try and be cool and try to be funny. That guy shat himself when I called him out, by the way. When when your kid does something wrong and they know they've done something wrong and you see them and like, like, I didn't mean to break that. Like, it was that guy. Like, he just froze. He froze and he didn't move. He's like, me? Point. I'm like, get the fuck over here, you. I was like, say it to her face. Have a sack and say it to her. No, he shot himself. And that's most people, to be honest. When you call someone out, when you put someone on the spot, they just deteriorate. And I find this a lot with fans, and I don't understand it. I don't like resonate with it. My Instagram followers are going up. My support online is going up. My brand deals, they're going up. They're getting more lucrative. They're getting bigger brands. I mean, we had 4 slots on the Jumbotron with Timex at UFC 298. Like, it was insane. We did that ourselves internally. We created that. So everything we're doing is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And the truth is, I think, like, people are sheeps. They hear one thing, they don't fact check, they don't understand the truth or the reality, and they just follow and they're easily led. And I have to understand that. I can't sit here and go, oh, well, they don't understand the reality. It's like, I don't expect people to be smart enough to go and check it out. I don't expect people to really look into it and fact check. And they're reading lies and twisted words and negativity from people like Sean Strickland, who isn't the perfect example of a human on the planet. And I have to understand that and not be irritated by it or annoyed by it. But the love I get all around the world in person, it's not the same.
You have great people surrounding you. Your manager, Lloyd, one of the best in the game. Your wife, all the people surrounding you, brilliant minds when it comes to this stuff. If I were in charge of Ian Garry Enterprises, what I would say is, nice little media tour, victory tour in Ireland now. Connect with the media there.
You're
connect
right.
with the people there.
That's what we're planning.
Brilliant. Okay, so you see, same mind. And the next one in Ireland. The next one has to be in Ireland, right? I feel like the next one. I know you want Colby. I don't think Colby accepts that fight in Ireland, in Vegas, in Florida, on the moon. I really don't. I don't know if you have intel, but I think like a top level fight in Ireland, headline 3 arena. Later on this year, it's now, right?
Please. I would love that. I've been calling for it for the last 4 or 5 fights. I've been dying for that to happen. I believe I am the guy to bring them back. I've definitely done enough to warrant them go back to Dublin and put on a show. I mean, tomorrow morning when the rankings come out, I'm going to be number 7 or 8 in the world. I'll have beaten more guys in the top 15 than Colby Covington has. That's nuts. Already, I've beaten more guys in the top 15 than Colby Covington has. I would love that Colby fight. I don't care where it is on the planet. If it's in Dublin, if it's in Vegas, if it's on the moon, I don't mind where it is. I just want to destroy him and rid him from the UFC. I think he's a terrible person. He's fake. He's a persona. He's a character. Yes, he has fans on his side, but that makes it even bigger. And to beat someone like him, to do it in Ireland would be a dream come true. I've been shouting from the rafters to make that happen. And I know people are upset with a comment I made recently, and that's the fear I have, is I don't want the UFC to not go back because they go, we want you on the US pay-per-views.
Can you explain where you... I saw the backlash that you got there, and when I watched it, I understood what you were saying. I understood you were saying, hey, I don't want to become champion, and then you can't put me at the 3 arena because the 3 arena is too small in Croke Park. But I think some people misunderstood. So what were you trying to say?
Well, here's the truth, right? The biggest star in the sport is Conor McGregor. And Conor McGregor hasn't returned to the US, to Ireland, since Conor done everything that he did. Why not? Because there isn't a venue big enough to warrant putting on a show in Ireland for that size, that capacity, the money, the turnover, everything. And I understand that. I get that, because it's more than just a want and a will and I want to bring the UFC back. It's logistics. It's how are we going to make it happen? Is it beneficial for us as a company? I want the UFC back to Dublin. I've said it way before I got to the UFC. I'm going to be the guy to bring the UFC back to Ireland. And that's still a dream of mine. To fight in my hometown, to be the guy that brought them back, to slay a top 10 opponent in Dublin, Ireland, would be a dream come true. If it was against someone like Colby, it'd be even bigger, because he's a piece of shit, and the world would love to see me silence him. So you're right, Ariel. That is the goal. I said it tomorrow. We're back in Brazil at the moment. We're on holidays tomorrow. But I said it to her on the plane. I said, we need to go back to Ireland. We need to do media in Ireland. We need to big up this return for the UFC to Ireland. We need to do it the right way. And we need to make sure that the fans are aware that every time I step in that octagon, like, that's my goal. That is my dream. That's the next thing for me, is bring them back to Ireland.
How would you describe, Ian, your relationship with the Irish people and to a degree the Irish media as well? Because I did see some upset that they couldn't get some time with you, and some of the fans say so. And then I think you spoke to some on Friday, to your credit. But can you clear some of that up for us? Because again, you have a whole nation behind you. Look at what they're doing for Ilya, right? And I think this is something you need to tap into.
For sure, and trust me, I try. I do every bit of media that I'm given. However, there was some miscommunication or something behind the scenes going on where media was being cancelled without my approval. And then it turns out it was Irish media, and I didn't find out until Tony Ferguson had sent me a message.
Wow.
Where an Irish journalist had messaged him saying, "What do you think of this Garry clown?" And I immediately called this person and said, whoa, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, I thought we were cool. Why are you messaging people? And he was like, oh, you know, I've been cancelled 4 times. Like, it was not to my knowledge. To my knowledge, I've done every bit of media that I've been given. So I'm sorry if they prioritize other people over you. I mean, Ariel, I do more media than every single fighter on every single pay-per-view I've been on. It's nuts. I hit so many different markets and continents that I have to do so much more than the biggest fighters in the pay-per-views. I'm aware of that. And I just say yes, I say yes, I say yes, and I do it. So when it comes to media, I'm always the type of person who will do the media. I've never said no to an interview. I've never said no to not do these things. For me, I know my brand. I know how important these things are. I know how important coming on your show is and talking. I know people watch it. I know people listen to it. I know people write about it. So for me, I don't turn those down. That's not what I do. So when someone was canceling stuff without my permission.
Okay. I'm happy you cleared that up. Thank you for that. He didn't ask me to do this, but how can I fix you and Rampage? I mean, this breaks my heart. I love both of you guys. I mean, this is what's going on here. I'm sorry that it happened on my show, but like, I thought he was talking about Ian McCall. I thought he said Ian McCall. I was like, what are you talking about? How do I fix this?
Listen, you don't need to fix. Truth is, that was just idiotic and stupid. And this is the truth when it comes to, like, I have a blacklist when it comes to media. I have a blacklist when it comes to interviews and podcasts. And I will say no to the people that do not fact check. You have always messaged us in advance saying, is this true? If I talk about this, is that true? Because you're very good at your job. And you don't want to say something that isn't true. And if you did, you know I would be upset with you. But you don't, because you're amazing at your job, and that's why you're one of the best to do it. That's why everyone respects you so much. If you do not fact check, if you spread lies, and if you just talk shit online to generate traction, then I do not want to have any part of those podcasts or interviews or anything, because it's just not beneficial to my brand or to anything that's going on at the moment. I am trying to be a world champion. There has been lies and negativity spread amongst the world. That is not true. People have not fact-checked. People are talking out their arse. They're talking brown. And I have to deal with that. And I'm still doing me. I'm still winning. I'm still happy. I'm still proud of the person I am, proud of the family I have, proud of everything I'm doing. And I'm not going to let people infect that by giving them time and giving them value on their podcasts. So the truth is, with someone like Rampage, he chose the words that came out of his mouth. He didn't fact check. And then he went, oh, I see you're here on Monday. Well, then why'd you say my name? That's on him. And there's only one person he can be offended by, and it's himself. Be upset at himself. So I appreciate the apology, but you had nothing to do with that.
All right, fine. Fair enough. I tried, Rampage. I'm sorry. Can I ask you about something that I heard in the post-fight press conference from you, which I didn't really know. I don't know that we've ever talked about this, but I found fascinating. You said before you walk out, you have a little cry in the locker room.
Every time.
What is this all about? What do you mean cry?
Like sobbing in my eyes, like tears rolling down my face. It's weird. So like I spar backstage to get me ready, like, because I need to react. So I pulled in Danny Rodriguez for this fight, D-Rod. He was in my corner. He was someone who helped me for this fight. He's a big, strong left hand in the southpaw. And I was like, just try cracking with that left hand repeatedly. And my biggest weapon's in my eyes. So for me to react and move and find the ways to move around his shots is what sets me up. And as soon as I'm finished and I'm done my warm-up, I leave myself about 20 minutes to just calm the body down, let the body relax. I put on all my gear, my headphones, my music, whatever it is, my jacket, put my hood up. I get down on all fours. I put my hands on my head. I put my forehead to the ground. And I swear to God, Ariel, it's like that, like instant tears. It's being grateful for the journey I'm on. It's grateful for the abilities that I have, for the people that aren't here, for the people I wish were with me sharing the journey. There's so much for every bit of adversity I've gone through, for all the people that have been by my side for this camp. it just starts through the day. I feel myself getting more emotional and more emotional, more emotional. The truth is, I cry my eyes out. I thank God for everything that I've been blessed with, my family, my health, my wife, my child, my team. I ask for his strength, his guidance, his speed, his ability, and to protect me. And then I stand up. I listen to some Hosier take me to church, a nice Irish musician. Every time, it just brings me to tears. And the truth is, I feel like it's like a relief. My wife told me about a study that was done recently. I think it was done on Olympic athletes. Do not quote me on this. This is, I don't know, reiterating the words of someone far more intelligent than myself. But she told me that there was a study done on Olympic athletes where people who were emotional and cried prior to their event and people that held it back, the people who let go of all of those emotions achieved or had 100% better success rate because you're not holding on to anything. You're free. And for me, it's natural. It's instinctual. It's emotional. I don't force it. I don't make it happen. It just naturally comes. And I don't know. I feel it's like, I don't know. It's like taking taking all the armor off me and really making me vulnerable and then going out and just being myself and being my truest form and doing it in the most beautiful fashion I can.
I know why you have Imagine on your arm there. Why do you have Be Patient?
So that's my nana. I love my nana so much. She's one of the most incredible people I've ever met. She's someone who, other than my wife, she was the one person I'd ever talk about like spirituality with and connections. And I'm not necessarily, I never thought of myself as religious, but I knew I had a special connection to something above me or a higher power. And she was the only person who ever really gave me that knowledge, that insight, that conversation. But I remember my entire childhood, my nana always told me, Ian, you can be, and she'd pause. And she'd wait for me to say, be patient. Because I'm that type of kid who will go 110 miles an hour to anything I want to achieve my goals, whether it's to get an ice cream at the shop, or whether it's to cross the road, or whether it's to go see the donkeys or the horses that me and her used to go do as a kid. I would just 110% of my energy would go into that. And she would always tell me, like, be patient. Like, it's all going to come. You don't need to rush. And that's how I feel with my title projection, like my career. I don't need to rush this. I can be patient and succeed and learn in the best way possible and achieve so much more with that patience. Because to me, Ariel, whether it's tomorrow or in 2 years, I'm going to be a world champion, whether the world wants it or not. I know it. I feel it. It's a matter of time in my mind. It is inevitable. So for me to have the patience to learn, to grow, to evolve, but also to prove it. I've beaten 3 top 15 guys already in my career. If I go out there and I beat a Colby Covington next, and he is who's next, and then you give me another top 3 guy, let's use Usman, for example. I've just beaten 5 top 15 guys, and then I get to fight for a world title. No one can tell me that's not earned or deserved. But that was patience. That was clinical. It was precise. It was earned. It was deserved. There's no cutting corners. So that one is for my nana, and I think about that a lot when I think about my career. Like, it will happen. It will come. Just be patient.
It strikes me when you say Colby Covington, he is next. Do you have any insight? Maybe I'm completely off here about him accepting. Like, did the brass say anything to you?
Well, no, I know for a fact that it's a massive matchup. I mean, when you think about it, where his ranking is now, like I said earlier on, I've beaten more top 15 competitors than Colby Covington has. His biggest claim to fame is I've fought 3 world titles and I've lost all of them. So I believe Colby still has a lot of respect from the fans. He's still a massive matchup. He has a lot of followers. He's a very good athlete. He pushes the pace and he's got great wrestling, but he's not a tenth of the athlete that I am. He doesn't have the technique that I have. He doesn't have the mindset that I have. I mean, the guy's a joker and a clown. He was going to get cut by the UFC until he put on this fake persona that everybody knows about and is aware about. He's a pantomime. But I know for a fact I'm the biggest fight he's going to get. He's not going to fight an Usman. He's not going to fight a Shavkat. He's not going to fight Belal because They're all terrible matchups for him. I'm a striker at heart. Striker versus wrestler makes sense. I've also not been tested against an elite American wrestler in the division. So give me the guy who's arguably the best at it. Let me show the world how much better I am than him. Let me do it over 5 rounds. Let me do it on a massive main event in Ireland or a co-main event on the Conor McGregor-Michael Chandler card, whenever that is. But I promise you now, Ariel, I promise you now, heart to heart, eye to eye, I will put Colby Covington face down on the canvas, whether I knock him out or whether I choke him unconscious. I don't care how it happens. I know for a fact it will happen because he's never, ever, ever going to be as good as me. And I just know that there is not a bigger matchup for him to take. There is no bigger paycheck for him to get at the moment because I am the biggest name he can compete against. And I think that said and done, he's also not in a position where he gets to turn down fights anymore. You take what you're given or you don't fight at all.
By the way, before I let you go, I'm just curious, since it's your division, you mentioned some of these names. Dana White saying that Leon Edwards said yes to 3 opponents. None of them were Belal, in terms of the fact that like they didn't offer him Belal. It was Hamza, Shavkat, Islam maybe. None of this worked out for 300. What is your take on this division right now, where Belal, who is unbeaten in his last 10, isn't being offered to Leon?
I don't understand this. I really don't. I feel like for the UFC, they want to like. Dana always speaks about how he wants to move the division. He wants to keep the champions active and he wants to get the next guy in motion. I understand that the build-up for Belal and Leon might not be the most entertaining in the world. You know, they're not the most entertaining to listen to, or the press conference isn't going to be that big of a build-up. But like everything that's going on in my life at the moment, right? If the fight is going to live up and be good enough stylistically, why not make it happen? Why not just talk about the fighting? Leon is a phenomenal fighter. Belal is a phenomenal fighter. So let them go at each other and let them see who's the best in the welterweight division at the moment. I believe they absolutely should make that fight. I understand that Shavkat's probably next in line after him. Make that fight happen afterwards. I feel like Dana said it the other day. I was present when he said it. Leon said yes to 3 different people. So give him a guy that's going to say yes. Give him a guy that's going to show. Make it be Belal. Make that fight happen. Let's move this division. Let's create like the hype. Let's, whether Leon or Belal wins, you know, oh, there's a new champion, or there's, and still he did it again. Like, that is building up the character of the champion or the new contender. Let's push the division. It's it's arguably the most dangerous division in the entire sport when you look at it, totality of the top 15. So let's enjoy it. Let's have fun, because the stylistic matchups, the young talent that's coming through, it's incredible. And I'm excited to see how it all unfolds.
Any part of you on Saturday, you look at Ilya, young guy, confident guy, undefeated guy from Europe, do what he did, realize his dream, and then see all the buzz, all the happiness, and say like, yeah, and then say like, that I can't wait for that. You watch that and say like, that's going to be me.
I mean, I've been saying this to you since Cage Warriors. I'm going to be a world champion. I did that in Cage Warriors. I'm going to sign to UFC. I did that. I'm now 7-0 in the UFC, the second fighter ever in the history of the UFC to go 7-0 behind Kamaru Usman. I have the highest striking differential in the UFC, the second highest significant strike rate in the UFC. I am just building and building and building and building on this resume. I've told you, Ariel, I'm going to be a UFC champion in time to come. With time to come, it's inevitable in my mind. There is no ifs, buts, or maybes. It's 100% happening, and I'm excited how it unfolds. The journey to me, from how I get there to getting there, is the important part. That's the fun part. That's the enjoyable part. When I get there, I'm fighting the next best guy in the world every single time, and I get to prove that I am one of the greatest to do this, that I will be in history one of the greatest fighters to ever do this sport, whether people like it or not, whether people love me or not. I am going to be that guy, and I'm excited for it. So yes, when I see someone undefeated, young, hungry, go out and achieve that, it sparks a little bit of fire in you. It sparks a little bit of fire, because it's like, that's coming. It's coming. But like I always say, patience is more important right now than anything, because my career is already written. My destiny is already written. I just have to enjoy it.
One last quick one, because you texted me. You have the same management. Any interest in Sean Brady if the Colby thing doesn't? He's interested in fighting you.
We have the same management. I don't think Sean Brady's an interesting fight at all. I actually don't rate him in any way, shape, or form. I think there's far bigger matchups in the division that are far more dangerous, that would excite me. And the truth is, if someone offered me a fight with Sean Brady, I'd be like, that's all I deserve. I don't deserve a bigger name. That I'm not going to get excited by that name. I mean, I would hope to fucking God they put Sean Brady 7 as 8 and me 7 because he beat Gastelum, someone who's unranked. I've just beaten a guy who's far more dangerous than Kevin Gastelum and Sean Brady. So, no, I have no interest in it whatsoever. I think Sean Brady is someone who is well aware that if he steps in that octagon with me, I will thump the mouth off him, and there's no way he beats me. But when you look at the division above me and everybody above me, Ariel, there's Wonder Boy, who I'd still love to get my hands on. There's Colby, there's Shavkat, there's Usman, there's all of these guys that give me, and I'm not forgetting any names. Gilbert, of course, but I love Gilbert. So,
yeah.
I like that'd be the one person I want to avoid because I love that man so much. But I know me and him would still end up fighting each other if it came to it. But it's like all of those guys excite me far more than someone like Sean Brady. So I mean, there's just no interest. So I believe 100% it is Colby. I believe he's not in a position where he gets to choose anymore. You lose 3 world title fights, you don't get to choose anymore. The young prospect coming up who's 14-0, who's 7-0 in the UFC, who's doing everything he said he would. That's the guy who gets to choose his next opponent. That's the guy who gets to call it out and make it happen. Now, if Colby wants to do it in Miami in the summer, or he wants to do it at International Fight Week, or he wants to do it in Dublin, wherever he wants, I'll say yes. Whenever he wants, I'll say yes. The ball's in his court now. But the truth is, I'm the biggest fight he can get when it comes to someone who's going to talk back, when it's someone who's going to respond to him, when it's someone who, when they get in that octagon, all the shit he will have said leading up to that fight, I'll talk to him when I beat the fuck out of him in that octagon. If Trump's in attendance, I will drag Colby in front of Trump and I will beat the mouth off him. And I'll say, this is what you've created. Boom. This is MAGA. Boom. I was like, it's no more. Get rid of him. Get him out of the UFC. I will silence Colby Covington. I will hit him so hard he never speaks again. And when he loses to someone like me, a young prospect, he's going to go, all right, maybe he goes back to Miami. He's got one girl on one shoulder, one girl on the other shoulder. He's beaten to fucking, he goes, maybe I should rethink my life choices now. Maybe I should retire. Maybe I should do all these. That kid gave me an ass whooping I've never had before in my life. That's the way I want to beat Colby. And I don't care where it is or how it's done. I'm going to destroy him.
Tremendous stuff, Ian. Congratulations. Another notch on the belt. Well done to you. Great stuff all week. Enjoy the time off, and hopefully we'll connect before the next one. Looking forward to it, and thank you again as always.
I appreciate your love and support as always, and I appreciate that you're the best in the game. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ian. There he is, Ian Machado Garry. Another massive win for him. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You could get many more of these videos on the channel, so please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.